Hello everyone, this is March 21st, 1:29 p.m. in the afternoon, UTC plus 4. I have adjusted the mic volume, it should sound a little bit louder, hopefully, clearer. I am going to look today at possible bear market low ideas in terms of price as well as time, using the Bitcoin US dollar 1 week Bitstamp chart logarithmic scale. I will start initially with the 2017 cycle, the 2015 to 17 cycle, which was, everyone could agree, a very aggressive, very bullish, explosive parabolic top cycle, and look at the logarithmic Fibonacci retracement levels primarily, and then support that idea going forward, how we determine lows. And then we'll look at the end at how the timeline fits into everything. So the new idea that came to mind is slightly different, and I don't have the highest conviction of this playing out yet, but I will take note of it as we are arguably experiencing diminishing returns. You could argue that the larger the market cap, that is a reason responsible for diminishing returns, institutional players, regular trading hours, CME chart, suppressing the volatility. Pick whichever reason you like. Or we could just look at history simply repeating itself, irrespective of the sheer market cap size. Maybe the price action remains volatile going forward. Any case, so the idea I'm going to call log scale fib retracement for bear market lows. So this idea that I have is that we see, purely using the fib retraces from the all-time low to the all-time high of that particular 4-year cycle, it goes to a fib level of a higher degree each cycle. So we have the 382, simply put, and then the 21 cycle from the low. As you can see, I'm measuring it the same. We have two lows within the bear market low. And like I explained in the previous video, using the most recent low, starting the impulse of the bullish motive wave is where we start the measurements. And then we measure that to find the next bear lows. Low to high, find the next lows. Low to high, find the next lows. So 0.382, 0.5, and 0.618 is what we're looking at respectively. And it does seem to nail them really, really accurately. And if we were to assume this was the peak of the cycle to be in, we then, if we go to the next fib level 618, we're expecting 3475. I mean, it's going to differ based off the anchor points. So 34 mid-thousand. And I recall Ben Cohen interestingly put that we have experienced price action to a magnitude of times 10. So if the Bay lows here was 3,400 approximately, the next low's 34,000. I think Tony Severino also said he's not going to be buying unless we reach this price target, which is why I put this idea here. So in that sense, you could say there's some confluence. But my argument is it is a weak idea because we have very low data points. We're literally just going off two price cycles to try and predict the third one. That's really a guessing game. If we want to add some more detail and possibly more confluence to it, I'm a big fan of looking at retracement targets of wave 4 of one lesser degree. And the way I look at that is that will essentially be your wave 4 within the wave 3 of the primary motive wave within that cycle. Now it's easily identifiable in this cycle where you can see 1 and 2, and then there's a minor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this completes your intermediate 3 within the primary motive wave. And then this does coincidentally line up really nice. So you have the top of 3 there going to the bottom of 4. So that entire vicinity is plausible for a retracement level. And it does end up tagging the lower end of that for this bear cycle low. So that's a very nice confluence. The prior cycle is a bit more tricky because we have extended 3s, and identifying the origin of 1 is a bit tricky. So I do put it out there for whoever is Elliott Wave specialists to try and dissect this. I've been trying to find something online that has an accurate Elliott Wave count for this, but everything is paid for websites, and I'm sure AI will be able to provide us proper answers in due course in future. But my take on it is that we have wave 1 starting here into here, and I see asking Grok and Gemini and some other AIs, they want to move it further up, but then the proportions of wave 1 end up being too large for my liking. It makes wave 3 too small, which is a hard rule break. I like the fact that this is a nice long wave 3, and then we have this as a wave 5 completion. So wave 5 seems fairly long. Wave 3 is longer than 5 though, and then wave 1 is the shortest of the 3. So if we look at the count, this should actually give us the 3-4, but then we have an extension 3-4, and that's where we end up having the 3-8-2. And that gives us the confluence over there. So typically, if you measure the whole wave 1, 1.618 should give you the vicinity of a wave 3 target, which this is good for the wave 3. It is valid, 3-4, but we do see an extension. So the extension does take us, and I think that probably puts you at the 200% level, which is also a good number for looking at a wave 3 target in an extended 3. So the 382 does overlap here with the wave 4 for one lesser degree. Happy with that, check mark. So then this one is easily identifiable. We have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 onto the 50%. And then here, if we have a look at it, 1, 2. So this 1, 2 looks a little bit confusing. I do believe this was the 1, 2. So if we do look at the extension of wave 1, that should give us a vicinity of the wave 3, which it does give us here 3 and 4. And that puts us onto the 50% level really nicely here. This is a target I am actively looking at for potential low if the time window allows. I do believe we can go and measure that now as well. I did draw up just simply using ultimate low to ultimate low. I put the drawings here at the bottom. So we can see from ultimate low, so that does include the first low, and then going to the next first low, ultimate low to ultimate low. It gives us exactly 1,428 days. Look at that. And you can go and do this exercise for yourself if you wish. The dates are there. I'm not hiding anything whatsoever. It's all there, pure speculation for good fun and games. This gives us, I think the 5th of October was the date, if I recall. Yeah, so 5th of October. So I'm going to keep an eye on how this price action develops. I do have a feeling that we're going to see some upside here, and then we're going to continue grinding down where there's going to be violent chops. All will be revealed. But as a minimum target, if we look at the past, a 382, even in the strongest of strongest markets, 382 will for surely be hit. So whoever's got longs or whatever going on here, protect yourself. 57k is going to get wiped out. I am almost certain of that, just my personal feeling. And I'll be ready for that. I'm not buying anything until we break this level. This is the vicinity I will be looking at for some healthy reaction, the mid-40s, but being open-minded that if we reach this target by September, October, then I would be happy to assume the lows are in. If we are earlier into this price territory and we still have some time left towards October, I will become open-minded to this target being on the cards for October. So no idea how this is going to play out further, but I am expecting some more highs, and then we could probably see some flushes. This could be a case people think the low's in again, and then it just does one last nuke, and then there we go. Send it back. It could be a slow grind again. I don't think our price is going to be that high. I think I had our peak potential targets in the last video, which is between 150, 180, depending on how these lows develop. So that is my idea. I did also put this previous wave, even though this is really hard for me to identify the motive waves, but I did find this seems to be like a 3-4. So you could argue this is a wave 4 of lesser degree within the 5 of the primary motive wave, and then the price target did end up reaching 382. So an alternative reasoning could be that you have 382, 382, 0.5, 0.5, and then the next two cycles could be 618, 618. You could have, I was looking for alternation, but this seems to be symmetry. rather than alternation. So 382, 382, we have 1.5, possibly another 0.5. That's why I'm more open to this, with this in the back of my mind that we could potentially reach that. All right, thanks for watching.